Hey guys, welcome to a new video on Wild Rift. So we're back with an Ezreal supplementary guide, and it's AP Ezreal build on screen now, as you guys can see. Pause if you want to take a look. So just a small disclaimer here. You will see me kind of inting into the enemy Draven Senna for the first couple of minutes of the game, but during this time I will be just discussing the build anyway, so we're not gonna talk too much about that. So let's talk about AP Ezreal now. AP Ezreal has always been a thing. It's not very common, but it's always been viable ever since, you know, Ezreal released in the game, which was like right at the beginning. Ezreal was one of the starting champions of the game, so AP Ezreal has always been a thing in the game since Wild Rift has released. So, of course, the build for AP Ezreal has kind of updated over time, and you guys saw the build just now. So basically, you want to rush the Gluttonous Greaves first. Pretty much all of the time because you want that early lane damage. However, in this particular game, we're not going to do that because we're into a almost full AD team. We have like Darius, Akshan, Draven, and Senna, all AD, so we're actually going to go for armor boots. And whenever you want to go for defensive boots on the ADC, you never go for it first item. You always want to go for it second item. So in this game, I'm going to complete my... I think I'm probably going to complete my Mandamine first. Yeah. So you want to then go for Tier, of course, to start stacking Tier, and then you want to go for Sheen. Now Sheen is going to eventually build into your Lich Bane later on. So you do want to go for you know, Tier into Sheen. So I think in this game I actually go for Tier into Sheen into armor boots because I start like dying a little bit, as you guys can see here in lane, and I'm like, you know what, I need these armor boots so I can stop dying a little bit. But yeah. So first item, obviously, Manamune, don't really need to explain that one. Every Ezreal build is going to have that as the first item. Second item, Nash's Tooth. Now Nash's Tooth firstly gives you, you know, attack speed, gets you, of course, deal magic damage on hit, which not only is going to give you magic damage on your auto attacks, but it's also going to give you magic damage on your Q, because your Q, of course, procs on hit effects. So this is, of course, going to allow you to deal magic damage on your Q, really important part of the AP Ezreal build. Then, of course, we have Lich Bane. Now, Lich Bane is a Sheen item, of course. Very strong AP item. Of course, this is going to allow you to proc on hit as well on your Q. So, a lot of damage on your Q over here. But the main damage of AP Ezreal comes from your W. So, in AP Ezreal, you actually want to max Q first, then max W second, and max E third. Because remember, W is going to have the most of your damage. However, it doesn't make sense to max W first because Q is just too important, getting that cooldown and stuff. Of course, W, when you max it, you get better AP ratios. So you want to max your W second and not first, and then you max your E last. Now, of course, the E cooldown is really important, but in this case, you really can't max Q, E, then W because you're not going to do enough damage because most of your damage, of course, comes from your W. So you do actually need to max your W, you know, second. And then for your last two items, of course, is Death Cap as well as Infinity Orb. Of course, Infinity Orb, no really need to explain that one. It's just a very strong AP item, just in general. Ever since it got the light version, and of course, Death Cap, just big boost to your AP in general. Just really strong item. Now, Press the Attack is generally a way better rune for AP Ezreal compared to Conqueror because you want to burst people down. So when you land your W on someone, you basically either just proc it with Q or you E in, whatever the case may be. You always want to proc your Press the Attack real quick, and then you burst down that target. So Press the Attack is always going to be the ideal rune for Ezreal. So in this particular game, I actually have Conqueror. Now Conqueror is not a horrible rune for AP Ezreal, but it's just not very ideal because it doesn't really suit his playstyle. Of course, if you are in a longer fight and you can get multiple Ws and Qs, Conqueror is still going to stack up and it's still going to be useful. However, I just think Press the Attack is way better. Now, so why do I have Conqueror in this game? Well, explanation is pretty simple. I wasn't actually going to build AP Ezreal this game. I was actually going to build AD Ezreal, and I was actually planning to go for Frozen Gauntlet because into 4 AD Frozen Gauntlet, Iceborne Gauntlet is a really good item. But eventually, I decided that, you know what, you know, I think, you know, Nautilus and Darius probably going to be pretty tanky, so I think I need to go for you know, AP. And you can even see that Darius is actually going for first item Death's Dance, which is, I'm not sure if he's doing that specifically because we're all AD, or he normally goes for that, but yeah, Nautilus turns out he's actually going AP. He's not even building tanky, so I probably could have or should have just went for that Iceborne Gauntlet build in this match. Probably would be a little bit more ideal, but I already committed to going for AP. Actually, in this match, you can see that I don't even go for the Sheen. I actually just go for full on the Mana Mune, and I'm gonna actually get the Sheen a little bit later on. So here, we're gonna finally start talking about the gameplay now that we spent like 5 minutes talking about the build. So here you can see back to business as usual, which is getting destroyed by Draven. We flash right into his face and get killed by him. So yeah, you can see we're 1, 4, and 2. And yeah, as I've been talking about the build, we have just been witnessing increasingly egregious deaths. Like the first death kind of forgivable because it was like both of them were 1 HP. It was like a really close call. But as the kills go on and on, it's getting like worse and worse how I'm dying. So yeah, you know, initially at the start of this game, like at this point in the game, I was thinking like, my goodness, like this game is rough. It's real rough, and I'm not gonna have a good time. But you know, the very fact that this video is being made means that I at least had a decent time, you know, in this match, or at least decent enough to showcase this build. So here I'm waiting to see if Draven's gonna get baited into this bush. But actually I susses it out, and I'm gonna have to now arcane shift away. You can see I'm barely doing any damage to him because even at this point I don't have any AP items here. I don't have any AD items either. I only really have the Mana Mune, and Mana Mune doesn't really do very much until it evolves into Mirror Mana. Here Draven is rooted by Maokai, gets chain CC. We actually have to arcane shift out of the way of his ulti. If not, we actually could have died right there. Yeah, Draven does a crap ton of damage. He already has 1.5 like full items, and meanwhile I only have like half an item, honestly, because you know, the Mana Mune doesn't really count for much, and we have like half an item, and we don't have anything else at that point. So we nearly get destroyed by him 1v2, or the 2v1 I should say. Yeah. So yeah, definitely not a good time for us so far, but a step in the right direction, getting a kill onto the enemy Draven, who is still 1.5k gold ahead of me at this point in the game. So here we are going to continue trying to get farm, trying to get back into the game, which of course you guys can see we've been having a little bit of trouble with you know, throughout the game. And here we even have to use our ult to wave clear because Maokai actually decided to roam mid. So enemy team can see that, so we actually have to hold our ground by ourselves and clear the wave. Maokai now goes in onto the Draven. We land the W, we get the follow-up damage, but the Senna root does come in, and you know, they do end up escaping. And we basically don't get the kill, unfortunately, so that is a tad unfortunate. But yeah. So here, Tristana comes in for a gang, does get the kill here. And now we are pretty low, so we do probably want to reset. But then we realize that, you know, Senna has recalled, and you know, there are 2 people in mid lane, so we can just grab this top lane tower first, and then we can recall and see what we can do from there. So here we recall, we finally pick up the Sheen, as I mentioned, a really crucial item for us. Previous time we didn't have the gold for it, so we didn't. And here we actually also not only clear wave, but also do damage to Nautilus and Darius, although we don't actually hit the Darius here. Nautilus does end up overextending and getting punished. Of course, this is AP Nautilus, so he's very, very squishy. It's going to take a bunch of damage. Darius on the run as well. We get the mid lane tower. He should be somewhere far back recalling. He's actually not that far back, so Jace actually hits him and he nearly dies. If the minions didn't come in there, my Q would have hit him and he actually would have died. A little bit unlucky there. Here, Maokai goes in, pretty much tanking 3 ADCs worth of damage, and I'm going to have to arcane shift away from danger. Now Tristana is the next target. They're running her down here. Draven eventually gets the kill. And yeah, so not the best time for our team. Enemy team has a slight goal lead over our team. Not the best situation in the world. So here, Darius and Nautilus are going in on Jace. Jace is trying to fight back. Me and Jax are here to back him up. We kill the Darius, and now we're going to chase onto the Nautilus. We ward over the wall to ensure Nautilus cannot escape. In case you guys didn't know, to prompt the Scorpion, you have to be out of combat for, I think, 3 seconds. So he was standing there, I think, trying to get the Scorpion with his dying breath. But it doesn't work because you can't do that. So that was a change they made, I think, in patch 5.1c, if I'm not mistaken. So you can't do that, and yeah, he does pay the price for it. So anyways, here, fight happening at the top lane. I'm just gonna clear the minions because I don't think they really need my help. The dragon is spawning really soon, and that's kind of what we're more here for. Now we actually have the mana mute evolve into mirror mana, so now we can actually do some work here. Darius hook goes wide, my skill shots go wide as well, and I get also by Nautilus here, but I am behind the wall, so Nautilus can't really follow up on his own ulti. I tank quite a bit of damage from Akshan's ulti, but I'm able to finish off the Nautilus. Now Senna in a little bit of a pickle here, gets engaged on, and Akshan does end up dying. I actually blast plant back over to take the fruit and start the dragon while my team is continuing to chase. Now during this whole time, Draven is actually split pushing out of all people. He actually takes the tier 2 tower, and he's going for the inhib. And I'm not quite sure why, because ADCs don't really, it's not really our job to split push, but here Darius does the right thing by trying to interrupt our backs, and does interrupt both me and Jax. So Draven's gonna get the inhib without us being able to stop him. Jax actually dies to Darius. I exhaust him. I'm trying to go for the Senna, who's really, really tanky, and Darius eventually does kill me. So I would describe it as overall a pretty huge loss. Like, we did get the dragon, but we lost a tower and an inhib. We pretty much all died. Like, our whole team died over the course of that fight. And yeah, it just wasn't really that good. Again, I'm really surprised that Draven was split pushing there, because I think that, especially given how strong he was, he has 3 full items. I think it would just be better if he was just in the fight with his team. Like, he could have carried that fight, because he was really, he was and is really far ahead. So he could have carried that fight for his team, but instead he decides to go for the split push, which, yes, we do lose an inhibitor, but I think we probably could have lost more. Like, in a sense that if they killed us there, they would have gotten the dragon. They would have gotten probably more towers. Maybe not an inhibitor, but they would have gotten more towers. And yeah, I'm not sure. But I think that if I was Draven, I definitely would want to be in the team fight. Speaking of Draven, he's getting jumped on by Tristana. And speaking of getting jumped on, Darius is jumping on me and Maokai. So is Nautilus. And for some reason, they are using everything on Maokai, and this allows me to come in together with the help of the Jace as well to kill both of them. And Draven does end up getting out, as well as the Senna and the Akshan. So it's a small skirmish at the top, nothing too much actually happens. And now we're trying to start out the Baron. So again, I'm AP Ezreal, so I don't do the most damage to the Baron. However, the main goal here is to bait the enemy team in. So Draven gets baited in, engaged on by Maokai. Red bursting that he's completely out of position. He goes down. Akshan now out of position as well. He goes down. Now the last ADC, Senna, also out of position. We're going to snipe her out. She goes down as well. Now the 2 tanks, technically I can't call Nautilus tank because he's a building AP mage. But the Nautilus and the Darius now have respawned. And now they're coming to stop our Baron attempt. And this is getting real dicey. Nautilus movement speed kind of insane here. Out goes in onto me. I'm getting pretty much one shot. Darius actually hooks me out of the way of Nautilus hook. So I do eventually die, but not before I'm able to take Nautilus down with me. We grab the Baron, and then we grab the kill onto the Darius as well. So overall, sure, I would trade my life for a Baron and basically an ace on the enemy team, kind of indirectly. And yeah, my team has the mid lane tower as well. Now Draven and Akshan trying to run them down. Not sure why Jax jumped back in there. That was not really the best move. Tristana dies as well, so goes a little bit sideways here. And yeah, Jace now just trying to clear the wave. Not too much he can really do, so he is doing what he can, just clearing the side waves here. But yeah, so now we're at 3 full items. So you can kind of start seeing Ezreal's damage coming through. Speaking of damage, I just respawn Arcane Shift, and just look at that burst. We almost one-shot Akshan. 2 more autos is enough to finish the job. Now we're going on to our next targets, which is going to be Draven, and then of course Senna, the third ADC in the mix, and down she goes as well. 3 ADCs once again die one by one like dominoes. Second time this has happened. First time of course was in the Baron fight. Now it just basically happens again. Lovely. Now here I'm thinking we want to get an inhib to trigger the Nexus shield, so that if on another push we can probably win. Darius protobucks forward and grabs me, but there's too much CC from Maokai, and also I do quite a bit of damage now, so we're able to dispatch him. Now 5 seconds from respawn of the 3 ADCs. We're gonna quickly grab the tower, and of course the Nexus shield is up, so we're gonna grab the tower and back off. In the meantime, our team is pushing in the bot lane. Arcane Shift over the wall, help finish off the tower, and Jax is pushing the opposite lane. So now this is a honestly really good Baron push, because now Jax is going from the other side and getting the push in. Now here I'm near to empower the minions. I actually have to Arcane Shift away because Nautilus, you know, was able to get the ult on me. Someone helped me block the Akshan out, so thank you for that. Would have died to it otherwise. Now Jax is taking the top lane in hit while they're busy fighting us. And this is a fight started by them. We weren't even trying to fight. We were just trying to take their jungle. But they start a fight. They distract themselves. Jax gets an inhib. Now Jax distracts them and allows us to get an inhib. So out of nowhere, we've secured triple inhib of the enemies. And now we're in the driver's seat in terms of winning the game. So that's kind of funny. But yeah. So here I'm just launching an ulti. Draven and Senna both nearly die on the fountain. And here I'm just DPSing the Nexus, trying my best to end the game. Minions run out. Maokai ends up taking the fall. And yeah, Tristana ends up dying as well. But eats up Draven's health. We're able to finish him off. We exhaust the Senna. And unfortunately, the respawn comes through. And Akshan just blasts me into next week. Also reviving the Draven in the process. So once again, Jace is the only man left standing on my team. Mostly because he's never in the fights, which is why he's always the lone survivor. But it's better than no one surviving. Anyways, he grabs that control ward. He wisely does not start the dragon because the enemy jungler is alive. He is now going for the Nautilus as it seems, but instead turns onto the Akshan. Looks like he's about to change target to the Nautilus. Nautilus pretty low. He gets the kill on Nautilus, goes into stasis, does end up dying. So the enemy team is going to be able to secure the Ice Drake. But Jax has other ideas. He's running straight down mid with the wave in the 1v1 against the Darius. Bonks the Darius. Darius misses his spells. Ends up dying to the Jax. And Jax is actually going to end up ending the game right here. So there it is. A pretty unexpected ending to the game, I would say. I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. We did bring ourselves back a little bit after that egregious early game. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video. And goodbye.